Hey everyone, welcome along. Welcome to Griffin, Indiana. We're here with Kevin and Jocelyn. It's a beautiful May morning and need to do a couple of things with the milk cows. First and foremost, we need to give them some more feed. So having made the hay last time, we've still got a little bit to pick up out in the fields, but we'll just whip up another batch of TMR and just make sure that we've got all of that under control. So what do we got in there? 4,900 litres of food. So we'll make another full batch here. Now these are 9,000 litres. We want to put one of those, excuse me, one of those in the mixer. So we'll grab one off the front there. Might as well use them before we have to put it away. Are we able to pick you up? Not quite. That's it. Should be pretty straightforward. Tip one of those in there like so. And go and get a straw bale. Be able to get one of those out of there without too much difficulty. Any luck on that one? Just inside the door there. Oops. Just extend. Pick you up. And there we go. You're 5,000 litres, so you'll go in nicely. As we've seen before, it's a pretty good combination for this mixing container. Now, we just drop the fork off for a second. We do have some mineral feed there, and whilst it doesn't do anything particular for the mix, doesn't hurt it either, so we might as well use it up. So Kevin's been just trying to get the place a little bit in order. He felt like he got a little bit out of control there over the last couple of months, trying to build up the cattle. And what have we got here? 600 litres. We don't need to be putting all of that in. We'll just put about, try and judge it to put about half. So now that we've got a modest supply of hay, we can empty the load that's in the trailer that he picked up in the last episode, and there's probably another trailer load on the field. Let's just try and judge that to about half. That'll do. And then the other really important activity once we've dealt with the cows is to go and get the soybeans planted in the small field down at Woody End. So get in there. That's it. Get it down. There we go. If you wanted to pick it up again, you wouldn't have a chance. That's better. So we'll go and take care of that, but first things first, we also need to do a load. Actually, we'll put this in the shed for the minute, because we also need to do a load of milk down to the dairy, and it makes sense to tackle all of those things first up. Yeah, we'll top this off with silage, and that should be our mix nicely complete. Oops, let's get under the right spout. Fixated on the lime spout and drove right past the one that's got the feed in it. There we go. We've got enough in there for 2 more loads of feed, so we do need to be thinking about some more silage the next time we do a cut of grass. Let's see here. Line you up. Start dipping it out. Beautiful. That should keep them happy for a while. So they've got straw. We'll go and do the milk now, and that'll be plenty of food for them for a while. The decision we've got to make is, do we want to sell these having just given birth while they're at their best price, or do we hold on? What he's currently thinking is he won't wait for them to reproduce again, because these ones are almost at puberty, and 24 is a good sort of size for the milk herd. So what he's thinking is we'll just wait a few months till these get closer to puberty, and then sell these dozen off, and that'll sort of help us maintain the herd at the right sort of level. Now we'll just jump in the truck and do a load with the tanker. The other thing that Kevin noticed when he was down dropping off a couple of bales for the sheep was that we're fully stocked in the sheep pasture now, and in addition, some of the sheep are ready to lamb. So he's thinking that we don't really need more than 100 sheep, and so if we've got the ability to top it up pretty quickly, we might as well sell the oldest and just let the new ones come through. So if we've got time towards the end of the day, we can we can run down with the trailer and get a few of the sheep taken down to market. They'll make us, I think he calculated there was 18 or 20 that we could sell at somewhere between 750 and 900 a piece. So good little income just to top up our cash reserves, and anything we can do to get us just a little bit closer to that 145,000 or so we need for the next piece of meadow will be a big help. So of course we're coming up on the period where we'll be able to sell our crop of soybeans, so there is good income coming, and there may in fact be 2 more pallets of fabric that we can sell today also. So we may go very close to the new meadow by the end of today's episode. We'll just have to see how we go. There's the dairy. And there's a pretty handy 6,880, so that works. And next up, let's get the seed in that woody end field. We can drop the tanker off. Actually, while we've got the hay on the tractor, we'll drop it in the excuse me, in the silo. And that way we can just go and get the last load off the field, because we are doing fine for time so far. It would also be helpful to be able to get the last of those hay bales stacked back in the barn today to get them out of the weather before we get into harvest season. You can see where he left it the other night. There's going to be barely a trailer load here. This North Meadow has been a really reliable source of hay and grass for silage over the years Kevin's been here, so I'm just quite looking forward to how it'll all work. If you can extend through the tree line there, we'll just get a couple of these piles before we turn. In addition to increasing our ability to make hay, it'd be nice to get more grass in the silo again to just up the cash flow and try and chip a little bit more off the loan. Just a few little lumps and bumps to take care of. We'll get this little strip over here and then come back and grab the bit in the center. Missed that little bump there. Before we head back, we'll just make sure, given we're right here, that this pasture is topped up. He did that last night before he finished, but they will have eaten a little because they were pretty hungry. Let's just back that onto the trough there. Can we get you around, or are we too far up? There it is. It took about 5,000. Push it all out. And away we go. We might leave this out on the forecourt actually, where we can give it a bit of a rinse down afterwards. So there's our soybeans selected. We're all filled up. Don't need any fertilizer with soybeans, so we'll head down to the fields and get them planted. Kevin got an interesting call from the dealership. Amused him, probably indicated more than anything he's got a bit of an odd sense of humour, but the dealership has a case. No, quite a nice looking tractor. We can probably have a bit of a look at it. Where is it? There. Yeah, there it is. It's the Optum. So pretty handy. 273 horsepower, 26 hours on it. And, you know, given what Kevin's been up to, the dealership thought it would be, well, that Kevin might be a good target sale. So Kevin tried to, somewhat politely, although I suspect he was a bit short, let him know that it was a bit small for Kevin's operation, and really he didn't want to be spending any time thinking about tractors smaller than about 450 horsepower. So perhaps, you know, give him a call when you've got something interesting to talk about. So if nothing else, that lets us all know where Kevin's head's at. The fact that he's only got one piece of equipment that needs that sort of horsepower, and, you know, for the most part, we're running the farm. I mean, the class here is what, 325, I think. Maybe it's 340. Running the farm quite capably with substantially smaller equipment than that is neither here nor there. It's now that, you know, Kevin's got a little bit of a sniff of a tiny bit of success. He's quickly upping his expectations in terms of what he wants to do. So it remains to be seen. Certainly a new tractor in that sort of ballpark is completely out of the question at this stage. And even a second-hand tractor at that sort of size is pretty well beyond his means. Would require selling down quite a bit of the cattle that he's worked so hard to build up. And whilst we'll sell them in due course, you want to be managing your herd to turn them over at the top price. So that's really what the next 12 months will be about, starting to sell an increasing number of cattle at that $3,000 to $3,500 a head mark. Well, you know, even then you need 100 cattle at $3,500 to come anywhere near the sort of money that is required for those, say, an 8RX or something of that ilk. So we'll just have to wait and see how his fortune holds out, but also I think he's got other priorities, to be honest. Let's just get this bit that's annoying me in front. See if we can get the land first to expand the pastures. Put another maybe 3 pastures in. That's probably, by the time you stock them, that's the next 200,000 spoken for, and then that might be the point where, you know, we're getting the sales from this season's crops might start to be able to be put together towards a bigger tractor, but also some bigger equipment potentially. So we'll just have to wait and see. Although until we get a bigger piece of arable land, we don't really need much bigger equipment. So it's kind of an interesting balancing point that the farm is at. Now, he hasn't heard any more from the guy in Texas that was dangling thoughts around, so remains to be seen what's happening there. And nobody's really doing anything particularly interesting or surprising in town at this. It would be a better way to put it at this stage. So, save for the fact that we have got 3 fields that have been planted with cotton. That's the first time in the years since we bought the mill that there's been cotton in the ground locally. So what that represents in terms of an opportunity remains to be seen. But it is interesting that some of the locals have taken that step again. Now they will concentrate on getting this field in. And then we might head over to the spinnery and see if there's any extra fabric to sell, and also the opportunity to sell some of the sheep that we've got. Just coming up, probably got 2 little short bits to do. And there we go. Let's just make sure we get that bit there. Well, we've got the opportunity. We'll also make sure we run the roller over it. Kevin would dearly like a big John Deere tractor to fill out his bed here with the other equipment. Just have to wait, I think. Excellent. Let's grab that roller. It's the field roller. Back down to the field. Sure we don't catch anything when it unrolls. And we can line up that edge of the field. Pretty dry out here at the moment, as you can see. A fair bit of dust kicked up from the roller. But that said, make a reasonable rate around the field, and we should have this done in no time. Kevin's pretty pleased with that. Just coming up on midday, and we've got the field seeded and rolled, which is terrific. We'll head back to the house for some lunch, and set about putting the animal carrier on the back of the truck, and head over to the spinnery and see if we can sort out something with the sheep just after lunch. Oops, managed to miss just a little bit there. Just a whisker. Rightio, so Kevin grabbed some lunch. We'll head over to the spinnery. Now, it occurs to Kevin that this is a much larger vehicle than the last time he delivered livestock here, and we've also got a container in the spot there around which we built the track. So this will take a little bit of work to get the trailer where we need it to be. There's only one pallet of fabric. I don't know how far we are off the next one. What are you getting caught on? Amazing how the branches of the tree don't move. Just come forward a bit. Might have to trim that tree just a fraction. We're certainly going to have to open the gate. How much fabric is in there? We've got enough wool to finish the pallet that it's making. As you can see, the hay we dropped off last time trigger that we want is actually on the end of the building, and that corner might be just in the way. Let's see. I'm not on the trigger at the minute. No. It's back around. Might have to do a little bit of work with our fences to make this work. I'll bring the trailer in from the road. We can almost do with the gate up there on the road, to be honest. So there we go. Now, the ones we want, 30 months old at 850. We want to select you. So there's 10 of those. And the next lot, 10 at 24 months. Move to trailer. So that puts 20 in the trailer, which is what we were looking for. And then I think we'll find that this lot here at 12 months old are going to reproduce next month. So it's a 5-month cycle. In fact, it might be easier to have a look at them in here. So there's 20 that are going to reproduce next month, which will basically replace what we're just selling. So that's the plan that Kevin wanted to work with. Let's see if we can get you out now. Get the trailer back over where it was. And there we go. Keep left, keep right. Now swing. Excellent. Good job. We'll leave the fabric there, but we'll grab a little bit of the wool and put it in just in case. We'll check the sell price. May is supposed to be the best month for fabric sales, and it could be that we're better off selling the pallet we've got. Rather than waiting for the second one to pop out. We'll just make a bit of a judgment about that based on how sharply it falls off the cliff. Let's see. So fabric is at 68.19. The best price. So it is coming down. It is coming down. And it will fall pretty steeply in June. So I think we'll take the risk for another day and wait for that second pallet. As long as we sell it before the end of May, we should be right. For now, we'll go and sell these sheep. I'm sure the guys at Larson's will be surprised to see Kevin selling some sheep, but he'll be only a bit too happy to tell them why it's a good thing. Come on, round you go. Where's the back of that trailer? That's what we want. Come on, swing. Rightio, so 10 there for 8.5, and 10 of those for 7. 15,500, that'll do us quite nicely. But we're still not quite at the point we need to be for that field. Farmland 42 is the one he's aiming for right at the minute, and that's 141. So we need a little more. One thing that struck him as we were driving around, we haven't looked at contracts. Not much interest in the weeding contracts. They don't pay very well. Maybe we should think about baling, in particular some silage, given that we did the hay contracts last month. So that's silage. Although the problem with that equipment is the tractor doesn't drive the twin mowers. What do they give us for this one? Oh, it comes with a crone. And that is on the big field 33. I think looking at the price, he's going to take that contract and borrow the equipment. That'll be a handy pickup, and it will give us a bunch of extra bales. But more importantly, we can do it progressively over the next little while. So don't feel in any rush to race out necessarily and get it done all of a sudden. We'll take the truck back to the yard and pop down to the dealership and grab the mower so that we can at least cut the grass on 33 this afternoon, and we'll worry about baling it and wrapping it next time. In fact, given that it's 3 o'clock, maybe we just leave the equipment where it is for now, and he can worry about moving that up this evening, because it's pretty quiet up there on 33. It's beside the field we did last time, and he can have everything all positioned ready for a fast start next time. That might be the best strategy, because our farm's in pretty good shape. We've got our crops in, our animals are fed and watered. There's no cattle coming up to be sold in the next couple of months, so all in all, just knocking that contract over next time might be a really good activity to take care of. So with that in mind, we might call it here and leave Kevin to do some equipment ferrying, and possibly even to put a couple of those hay bales in the barn. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching. Until next time, stay safe, have fun. See ya.